name's Rachel and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be sharing with you 3 brilliant investing books that I have recently read that have changed the way that I think about investing, and I've taken a lot of information from them. And if you're looking for something to add to your Christmas list, or you want to buy a book that could really help someone with their investing or their personal finance, then one of these books might work well for you. At the end of the video, I'll also be sharing some books that have been recommended to me that I've started making my way through reading, and then a couple of others that I'm thinking about starting reading too. I personally started reading investing books back in 2012. I went and had a look at my Amazon account and saw when I ordered my first investing book, and investing has made such a big difference to my life and my finances, and reading these investing books has really changed the way I feel about investing and given me the confidence to start investing, which is so important. So the first book I'm going to share with you is The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by John C. Bogle. Now this book is perfect if you are buying for someone who is a die-hard Vanguard fan. So obviously this book was written by the founder of Vanguard, and it is packed full of Vanguard style wisdom. So there's so much information there on index funds and passive investing. There's also a lot of information on keeping fees lower. What's also really nice about it is that it is a relatively short read, as it's called The Little Book of Common Sense Investing. It's not a huge book that's going to take you a long time to work through. So if you're just starting to invest and you're thinking about investing in index funds, then this could be a really good book to get you started that isn't going to take you a long time to read, because I think often what happens with investing is you can kind of procrastinate, because that's certainly what I did. I wanted to read everything and know everything before I started, but to be honest, it's really good to know what you're doing, but it's also good to just get started with investing, because the sooner you start, the sooner you'll start seeing your money grow, and the sooner you'll see the interest from your investments compound over time and make you more money in the future. Now I'm going to share with you a quote from this book, but I wanted to say first that I have got a couple of Vanguard investments, but I don't invest solely in index funds myself, but I still found this book really interesting. So one quote that I really liked hammered home the importance of looking at your fees when you are investing. How most investors turn a winner's gain into a loser's gain. Before we turn to the success of indexing as an investment strategy, let's explore in a bit more depth just why it is that investors as a group fail to earn the returns that our corporations generate through their dividends and earnings growth, which are ultimately reflected in the prices of their stocks. Why? Because investors as a group must necessarily earn precisely the market return before the costs of investing are deducted. So this chapter really hammers home how important it is that you are getting the best deal for your investments. You don't want to be paying high trading fees, you don't want to be paying high platform charges and ongoing charges. You really want to check just how much your investing is going to be costing you before diving in, because those fees can really compound over time and take away a huge amount of money that you could be earning. And I'll pop a quick illustration on here that shows just that. Moving on now to the next book, which is How to Own the World by Andrew Craig. This is probably my favourite all-round investing book that I have read recently. I feel like it covers everything, all the way from the basics right up to more complex investing ideas. The style of this book is really uplifting and empowering. It's very easy to read. I actually listened to it on Audible, and I would recommend that too. It's really easy to listen to on Audible and gets you really excited about starting to invest. So it covers everything from investment ISAs to pensions in a lot of detail. And what I also really like about it is it doesn't focus on one specific investment style. So it's not all about investing in index funds, and it's equally not all about buying individual stocks and shares or buying actively managed funds. It does cover a mix of all of those things in this book. Why you will do better than many professionals. No one cares more about your money than you do. With a basic understanding of the investment process and a bit of discipline, you're perfectly capable of managing your own money. By managing your own money, you'll be able to earn higher returns and save many thousands in investment costs over your lifetime. And that is a quote from Alexander Green from the Gone Fishing Portfolio, which is featured in this book. Most people do not have the confidence in their ability to invest their own money. Be honest, did you spend more time researching the purchase of your latest car or pizza delivery, or pair of jeans for that matter, than you have ever spent learning the best way to look after your money or reading a solid how to invest book? So if you're looking to buy an investment book that is an all-rounder for someone who is just starting out with investing, this could be a good one to choose. And then the final book that I'm going to share with you is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, or Housel. I'm really sorry if I am saying it wrong. This book is really enjoyable to read. It's about, obviously, the psychology of money, and I find psychology very, very interesting. I also think it's really important to understand how psychology and your own personal mindset can impact your investing style. So getting to know yourself better to make sure that you are going to be the best investor that you can be. This book also made me feel really comfortable about the volatility that you can expect to see in the stock market. It also made me feel more comfortable about what I would do if the market was crashing or if I felt that a recession was near. But this book made me feel much more confident about that, and I think as a beginner investor, if you see your investments falling, it can be very tempting to pull them all out and to stop and leave investing where it is. But obviously with investing, it's a long-term game, and that is potentially something you shouldn't do. But this quote I thought really summed this point up really nicely. You could invest $1 into the US stock market every month, rain or shine. It doesn't matter if economists are screaming about a looming recession or a new bear market. You just keep investing. Let's call an investor who does this Sue. But maybe investing during a recession is too scary, so perhaps you invest $1 in the stock market when the economy is not in recession, sell everything when it's in a recession, and save your monthly dollar in cash, and invest everything back into the stock market when the recession ends. We'll call this investor Jim. Or perhaps it takes a few months for the recession to scare you out, and then it takes a while to regain your confidence before you get back into the market. You invest $1 in stocks when there's no recession, sell 6 months after the recession begins, and invest back in 6 months after a recession ends. We'll call you Tom. How much money would each of these three investors end up with over time? Sue ends up with $435,551. Jim has $257,386, and Tom has $234,476. Sue wins by a mile. So this made me feel much more comfortable about what I should be doing if a recession is to hit. Obviously, the last few years in the stock market have been very, very volatile. I was investing before 2020, and obviously in March 2020 did start to see my portfolio drop, but I'm really happy that I held on to it and carried on investing regularly when I could into investments that I felt were sound investments, because over time this has paid off for me. I think it's really important to say, obviously at the moment in the last week, again, the market has been really volatile, but reading books like this and learning as much as I can about investing has made me feel much more confident about just hanging on. And yes, potentially there might be another market crash looming, but for me, I'm just going to ride out the storm. So these three books are really strong choices if you are looking for a Christmas present for someone who is keen on investing or personal finance. And then there's a couple of books that I'm reading at the moment, but I didn't want to include in this video simply because I haven't finished them, so it wouldn't be fair to review a book I hadn't finished. But I'm reading at the moment Your Money or Your Life by Vicky Robin, and then after that I'm reading Money, A User's Guide, the Sunday Times best-selling guide to taking control of your personal finances by Laura Waitley. I think that'll be more of a general finance book, but I think there could be some really good information in there. Then on my Christmas list, so books I haven't read yet, but I have had recommended to me, are Smarter Investing, Simpler Decisions for Better Results by Tim Hale. And that was kindly recommended to me by Steve from the Playing Footsie podcast, which is a YouTube channel here, which I will link as well, just in case you want to go and check them out. They do weekly podcasts on the stock market, obviously, and they are very interesting to listen to. So if you fancy checking them out, please do. And then another book, which I've seen recommended to me in the comments a couple of times, is the Financial Times Guide to Selecting Shares That Perform 10 Ways to Beat the Stock Market. So that is another book that I'm adding to my Christmas list. For me, personally, I absolutely love receiving investing and personal finance books because I genuinely do find them very interesting, and I think there's no better gift than being able to get control of your finances and invest to grow your wealth. I think they're really solid choice of books. And then finally, I was thinking about reading one of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. I've seen a lot of people say really, really positive things about those books, but I haven't read any of them. So if you've got any thoughts on those books, or if you've read any of them, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if there's any other books you think I've missed that I should definitely be reading. I would love to check them out. I will probably do a few reviews on this channel of these different books. So again, if you fancy checking those out, then please subscribe, and I will have lots of book reviews on here in the new year. Thank you so very much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and have a really, really lovely December. Bye bye.